This is Jacques, who was born in Laos, grew up in Paris and lived all over the world, like 3 years in Montreal, 13 years in Shanghai, 6 months in Singapore, 3 years in Manchester, and now is back living in Paris for the past 2 years. In this interview, he compares 3 countries and explains to us where it's best to live if you want to live a financially happy life and why that is. Between the countries that you've lived in general, what would you say where people earn more and where people earn less on average?
I would not speak about high level of money because you know that everyone knows that if you want to get money, you go to Switzerland or Singapore. But if you go for power purchase, basically you get this amount of money, you have this charge, so then you have a lot of leftover.
Exactly.
So this is more interesting. This is power purchase. I would say China and Shanghai, you can get the highest power purchase. Let's say you get the average salary from France, let's say 3,000 euro, let's say 3,000, 4,000 euro in Shanghai. You
After or before tax?
Let's say after tax. You live like a king in China. Why? Because a full set meal will cost you 20 yuan or 30 yuan. So 30 yuan means divide by 8 on the 4 euros. Let's say for 4 euros you got a full meal. You got a three course meal. Of course, if you go local, but of course you pay as same as in France if you go to foreign restaurant. Actually, some pizza are more expensive in China than in Italy or in France because a lot of import stuff because the chef is foreign, so it's more expensive. I would say the most challenging would be England because even if you got good salary, the cost of life is quite high, and there is also a shortage of goods. So shortage of goods means higher price. And actually, the cost of life is so crazy in England that they have to put anti-theft tag even in a cheap things, in just a bag of ham, few pounds of meat. They have to put tags because there is too much stealing and theft. France, I would say it's in the middle.
Excusez-moi de vous déranger.
Oui.
You speak French?
Yeah, oui, on parle.
Juste une terrasse privée, on a un événement qui commence, ils ont privatisé le lieu.
Ok, pas de souci.
D'accord.
On va bouger.
Merci beaucoup, bonne journée.
Oui, salut.
If you compare the countries that you lived in, how would you compare the cost of living? Let's say for a single person without having a family.
So in Paris, single guy, after tax, actually the big challenge is the rent. The big challenge is the rent because you can live in a very small 9-meter square room, maybe for 400, 500 euros, or you want a studio, 30 square meters, it would cost you 1,000 euros. So it can be double. So renting, let's go for minimum 600 euro, minimum. And then for food, let's say 20 euros by day. So 20 by 30 means 600. And then various stuff, at least 1,500 euros, minimum. In Paris, it's you need to include the bills, internet, water, electricity. But to be comfortable, to go out time to time, I would say 2,000 euros net after tax. So it means before tax, at least 3,000 euro gross. London is crazy. London, I think it will be even more. Manchester is less. Actually, the cost of life is cheaper than in France, in Paris, I think. I do remember rent for share room start from 400 pounds. For one studios can be up to 1,000 pounds with bills.
Shanghai, what would you estimate there?
Shanghai, for me it's hard to tell because Shanghai I left in 2019 and it was 5 years ago. But I do remember that for 1,000 euro, you are okay. You can live like a king. Fine, you live well. You can enjoy life. You can go out restaurant every day. Actually, a fresh graduate out of school who start a job get the 6,000 yuan, 6,000, 8,000 yuan. It makes 1,000 euro.